In a world where uncertainty feels like the only constant, we often search for solid ground, yet discover only shifting sands beneath our feet. Chaos can appear as the enemy, but in truth, it is the raw material from which transformation is born. The storms you face are not meant to break you, but to reveal the depth of your spirit and the clarity of your vision. In the very heart of disorder lies a hidden order, waiting for you to awaken to it. Today, let us explore how to transform turbulence into purpose and confusion into the most meaningful chapter of your life. Chaos is often misunderstood. We label it as an enemy, a disruption to the life we think we should be living, an unwelcome guest that barges into the order we have carefully constructed. But if we can see beyond the surface, chaos is not a force to fear. It is a messenger. It arrives when life wants to move us, when the universe is urging us to expand beyond the boundaries we've outgrown. Chaos tears down the walls we have mistaken for safety, revealing a far greater horizon than we ever imagined. It is the cracking of the old shell so that something new can emerge. When everything around you seems to fall apart, your mind will instinctively cling to what feels familiar. But this clinging is the very thing that prolongs your suffering. Chaos does not destroy without purpose. It dismantles the false so the truth can stand unobstructed. Imagine a forest after a great fire. The destruction is real, but within days, tiny green shoots push through the ashes. Life renews itself not despite the fire, but because of it. In the same way, the chaos in your life is creating fertile ground for a new beginning, even if, at this moment, you cannot see it. It's important to understand that chaos does not come from outside alone. It is also the turbulence within, the conflict between who you think you are and who you are becoming. When your soul is ready to grow, it sends ripples through the life you've been living, and those ripples can feel like earthquakes. This inner chaos is not punishment, it is an awakening. It is the gentle and sometimes forceful reminder that your current state is too small for the magnitude of your spirit. The question is not whether you can avoid chaos. You cannot. The question is, will you resist it, or will you allow it to shape you into something more authentic? Resistance is the reflex of the fearful mind. Acceptance is the choice of the awakened heart. When you stop labeling chaos as bad and instead greet it as a sacred passage, everything begins to shift. Suddenly, you realize that you are not falling apart, you are falling into place. There is a subtle order hidden in the seeming disorder. Every twist, every detour, every collapse is part of a greater pattern, one that only becomes clear with time. But in the present moment, your work is not to understand the entire design. Your work is to trust that there is one. Like the seed buried in darkness, you may not yet know the form you will take, but you can trust the process of becoming. This trust is not blind optimism. It is the deep knowing that life has carried you through storms before and will carry you again. It is remembering that chaos has always been followed by clarity and endings have always given way to beginnings. Your heart has been broken, yet it still beats. You have lost, yet you have also gained. The presence within you that has survived every moment is the same presence that will guide you now. When you see chaos as the gateway to awakening, you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" And you begin to ask, "What is this awakening within me?" This shift in perspective is the birth of transformation. You no longer stand as a victim of circumstances, but as an active participant in your evolution. You begin to see that chaos is not against you. It is for you. It is removing the noise so you can hear the call of your own soul more clearly. In those moments when life feels most uncertain, anchor yourself in the present. Breathe deeply. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Remind yourself that while the story is still unfolding, you are safe in this breath, in this heartbeat. Allow the storms to rage without trying to control them. Your task is not to stop the waves, but to learn how to ride them, knowing that they will carry you to a new shore. The truth is, chaos is not a detour, it is the path. And the sooner you accept its invitation, the sooner you will step into the greater, truer version of yourself that it has been trying to reveal all along. Because what feels like falling apart is, in reality, life rearranging itself for your highest good. When life feels chaotic, our first instinct is often to push against it, to try to control or fix the situation as quickly as possible. But in doing so, we overlook the subtle truth that purpose does not come from frantic motion. It emerges when we become still enough to sense the undercurrent of life. Between one storm and the next, there exists a quiet space. It may be small, almost imperceptible at first, but it holds the key to clarity. This stillness is not merely the absence of noise, it is the fertile ground in which new meaning is born. When we resist chaos, we keep ourselves locked in the turbulence, reacting rather than responding. But when we allow ourselves to pause, even for a breath, even for a moment, we step outside the swirl and gain a vantage point from which to see the bigger picture. It is in that pause that we can feel the pulse of life itself, unshaken by the events around us. Here, our vision begins to sharpen. We realize that the events that once seemed overwhelming are not the totality of who we are, but passing waves upon a vast ocean of awareness. In this quiet space, we start to listen, not just to the voices around us, but to the inner voice that's been drowned out by the noise of urgency and expectation. It speaks softly, yet with unmistakable truth. It reminds us of what really matters, of the values we've sometimes compromised in the rush to survive or succeed. It points us toward what is essential, stripping away the distractions that have no real bearing on the fulfillment of our lives. Stillness between storms is not something the world will hand to you, it is something you choose. You claim it in the way you breathe, in the way you notice the subtle details of the present moment, in the way you give yourself permission to step back without guilt. Sometimes it will feel counterintuitive. When the outer world is pressing you to move faster, to solve problems immediately, choosing stillness may appear like inaction. But it is, in fact, the most profound action you can take. It interrupts the momentum of fear and allows wisdom to emerge. Think of the ocean after a tempest. The waters do not immediately become calm. They move through a rhythm of gradual settling, each wave carrying away the residue of the storm until the surface becomes clear once more. So it is with us. The storms of life may leave behind emotional currents, but in our stillness, those currents begin to release, the silt settles. And in the clear waters of our awareness, we see the reflection of our true self. This is the moment where purpose is revealed, not as a grand revelation shouted from the mountaintop, but as a gentle knowing that infuses your entire being. It may come as a simple realization that your purpose is to create beauty, to serve with compassion, to love without reservation, to learn endlessly, or to heal what is broken. These are not ideas plucked from the mind, they are truths felt in the heart, born from the quiet between storms. Once this inner clarity emerges, life begins to reorganize around it. Your choices shift. The way you speak, the way you listen, the way you move through the world begins to align with this deeper truth. You stop chasing every possible direction and instead focus your energy on what truly nourishes your spirit. And in doing so, you realize that purpose is not something distant that you must one day achieve. It is something you live in every decision, every word, every interaction. There will be storms again. That is the nature of life. But each time you return to the stillness, you become less afraid of the turbulence. You begin to understand that storms are not interruptions to your purpose. They are part of the very landscape that shapes it. And as you navigate them with awareness, you discover a calm that is unshakable, a clarity that is not dependent on the outer world. So, in the moments when the world feels loud, when uncertainty presses in from all sides, remember to pause. Step into that sacred space between storms, where silence is not emptiness but fullness, where stillness is not stagnation but the wellspring of your deepest truth. In that space, you will find that purpose is not something you must search for. It has been waiting for you all along. Meaning is not a distant treasure you uncover once in a lifetime. It is something you craft moment by moment, with every choice, every intention, every gesture. Too often, we imagine purpose as a singular revelation, dramatic awakening where the path ahead is suddenly illuminated in golden light. But in truth, purpose is far quieter. It is not an event, it is a practice. It is created through the smallest acts of alignment between what you value most and how you choose to live. When you wake in the morning, before the demands of the day rush in, there is a space, a breath, in which you can decide the tone of your day. In that moment, you can choose to be guided by your deeper self rather than by circumstance. You can decide that your actions will be infused with kindness, your work with integrity, your relationships with presence. This is how purpose is born, not from chasing grand missions, but from consistently honoring the truth of your heart in the seemingly ordinary moments. Living with purpose means understanding that the quality of your life is determined not by what happens to you, but by how you respond to it. Life will bring uncertainty, challenges, even chaos, but your purpose is not fragile. It is a living force that can adapt, grow, and deepen in the face of change. Every day offers you a blank page, and each choice you make writes a line in the story of your existence. The question is not, will I find my purpose? But what am I choosing to create right now? Think of purpose as the thread that runs through your life. You do not need to see the entire tapestry to begin weaving. Every moment you act in alignment with what matters most to you, whether it's compassion, creativity, service, or truth, you add a stitch to that tapestry. Over time, those stitches form something beautiful and unique, a life that reflects the essence of who you are. And because you are constantly evolving, your purpose, too, is a living, breathing thing, never fixed, never complete. This is why purpose cannot be delegated to a future version of yourself. It is not waiting for you in some faraway destination. It exists in how you show up for the very next interaction, the very next decision, the very next thought. Every moment offers a choice: to drift aimlessly in reaction to the world or to consciously participate in the shaping of your reality. When you choose the latter, your life begins to feel less like something that is happening to you and more like something you are creating from within. Sometimes people ask, but what if I don't know what my purpose is? And I'd say you already do. You just may not have given it language yet. Your purpose is the expression of your most authentic self. Notice what makes you feel alive, what makes time disappear, what leaves you with a sense of deep satisfaction long after the moment has passed. Notice the ways you naturally bring value to others. These are the breadcrumbs that lead you back to your inner truth. Follow them without pressure or expectation, and you will discover that your purpose has been with you all along. In this way, meaningful living becomes an art form. It is about refining your awareness so you can notice where your life feels aligned and where it does not. It is about courage. Courage to release what no longer serves you and to embrace what calls to your soul, even when it feels uncertain. And it is about generosity, because true purpose always extends beyond yourself. The more your life contributes to the well-being of others, the more deeply fulfilled you will feel. Purpose is also an energy you can feel in your body. When you are aligned, there is a sense of ease, flow, and quiet confidence that guides your actions. You may still face challenges, but they no longer define you. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "How can I serve this moment with the best of who I am?" That shift changes everything. To live with purpose is to accept that you are both the artist and the artwork. You hold the brush, and the canvas is infinite. Some strokes will be bold, others subtle. Some will seem messy in the moment, but reveal their beauty in time. Trust the process. Trust that every moment of conscious living is adding to the masterpiece of your life. The beauty is, you don't need to wait for the perfect moment to begin. This moment, right now, is enough. Your purpose is not something you wait to find. It is something you choose to live. And the choice is always yours,